Good morning everybody, it's Tuesday the 8th of March 2016. How is everybody? This is First Light again. This is Matthew James again on the Urambi Hills. I just want to continue with my little waffles, my little talks, my little chats, and I hope you're enjoying watching these little videos. I just want to talk about true self again, and ego, and control of ego, and psychic development. Now, what I will say is the universe will not impart its truth, its wisdom, its real meaning to those who are enveloped in self-ego, false ego. The assumed self cannot handle the knowledge that is imparted by the universe, and this is the basic idea of the secret societies that we have on this planet, the initiations, the so-called cruel little initiations that the acolytes have to go through and the neophytes have to go through, but it is all necessary to lose the false ego. The false ego is very hard to shake. It's very cunning. It can disappear, it can come back, and it can really deceive, and it can really mislead. So imagine giving a nuclear bomb, the control of a nuclear bomb, to a 7-year-old child. It just doesn't happen. So this is really why we have all these initiation ceremonies. It is to really prepare a person and get a person to become their true self, their authentic self, their higher self. And the thing is, it works with me as well. I'm not going to impart any really big explosive dynamite knowledge on these videos, because I don't know who's watching these videos. All I know is from what I've been watching of this psychic industry, my shadows might get hold of this, and then might get hold of this information, and I am not imparting dynamite on videos because I will be responsible for the consequences. If it turns out that this information is used wrongly, then the universe will punish me. So I'm not basically willing to take that. My life journey is what I can consider very, very unusual. I mean, I've been around a very long time, and what I was experiencing and seeing and undertaking in the 1980s, people are only now discovering or playing with. So you're talking something from 36 years ago. Can you imagine how far I have gone along the path in 36 years, considering this is my way of life? I have to deal with this and the Kundalini energies and vibrations and the other worlds and spiritual connections every day, and I have been doing for 3/4 of my life. So you can imagine how far down the road I am compared with somebody who is 2 years into it, 5 years into it. And this is really why I am so careful with the words that I use in my banners, in my descriptions of who and what I am, because when you put something in writing, so you become those, so becometh you. That is the best way of describing this. So if you're putting that you are this and this and this and this, then the universe is like going, okay, so you must be ready. Okay, we'll test you with it. We'll see if you can deal with these experiences. You might do it for a while, but then it is taken off you. So many psychics have their ability taken off them. What that means is you've been shown what you wish to be. Now you've got to go out and you've got to earn it. So the universe says, go out there and prove you're worthy of your title. Then the work begins. The work begins within, and it is, all I will say, is very scary, very difficult, very traumatic, very unnerving, and it can take many years to seemingly get your ability back. Now, this knowledge, this information, all it really is all about a series of vibrations. and wavelength frequencies, because words are power, words are vibration, words are sound. And the more, let's say, the closer you get to true self, the more powerful those words are, and more powerful those impacts have on you and the people that you impart that knowledge to. So it is a case of working with ego, working with losing that ego, working with purifying self. And this is really what the Kundalini life force energy is all about as well. It starts off as the base lead, which is at the base of the spine, and it works its way up I was going to say the physical body. It doesn't actually go through the physical body. It goes through something we call a second vehicle that works on the physical body. But in order to be able to work with the Kundalini, you have to have the second vehicle activated. And generally it will be activated by an initiation, by a trauma, by a specific word or a specific series of exercises. Mine was fired when I was a 12-year-old, and it was really something dynamic, something I can't explain, something that I don't know how happened, but it just happened. So for 38 years I have been dealing with the Kundalini, and it is not the easiest of presences in your etheric field, believe me. It brings almighty highs, but it brings almighty lows as well, and it is all part and parcel of the losing the ego and the whole system of bringing true self through. So many people don't realize just how psychic they are, and just how influential their words are. And you've got to have a responsibility with the words that you say to people. Anything you say to people is a vibration. Anything you say to people is an energy form, and is going to influence that person. So when you are working with people's souls, people's higher selves, people's inner selves, it is really important that you say the right thing to that person in the right way. And the first thing that you have to learn is responsibility. Responsibility of actions, responsibility of consequences. Because whatever you say to a person comes back on you. Whatever wavelength you put out will always come back to you. Now, I'm not talking about karma here. It is just the basic principle that you're passing an energy on to a person. That person is then going to carry that energy and is going to adapt that energy into their own lives, and they can use that energy rightly or wrongly. Equally, you can use that energy rightly or wrongly. So the energy that you're passing to a person, you are responsible for. You are responsible for every single person that you do readings for, consultations for. Now, I've had criticism and critique and people slagging me off for saying this, but it is very, very true. Regardless of the responsibility of what the person does with your information, and that is what people have said, well, you're going to give them information, it's up to them if they're going to use it or not. No, I'm talking about the law of vibration here. You've given an energy to a person, you've given a part of your life force to that person, and you are responsible for that person because you've given a part of yourself to that person. But the responsibility is the most important thing. When you've imparted that information, you've got to give the right information, you've got to know how that information is going to affect the person, and you've got to understand if that information is right or not. These are all lessons and learnings and tests within themselves. How do you know your information is correct? How do you know what that information is going to do to the person? And how do you know that the desired effect for the universe is going to happen with that information? These are all the things that responsibility experience provides. Now, in the early stages, the universe will give you basic experience or a basic level of maneuverability to just see what you do with responsibility. you will get clients and you will get people coming in, but very soon they will start to drift. They will start to, let's just say, what will happen is if you are being irresponsible, the universe will go, this person isn't ready for information, isn't ready for receiving our information. And they can go one of two ways. They can be lost in a world of illusion where the ego's taken over and the ego goes, okay, so you're doing it wrong, but hey, you feel good about this. You're getting people's attention. You're being adored. Hey, let's continue doing this. And you get beefed up and you get beefed up, but your reputation is very poor and people will not come back to you because you are not being given responsibility by the universe. The universe has closed the door on you. The other pathway is your acknowledgement you've done it wrong, your acknowledgement that you've influenced people wrong, and your willingness to go through an initiation ceremony, a universal initiation ceremony where you will take on board experiences in your life to make you understand what you've done or you've said wrong to people. Now that can take a week, that can take 10 years, that can take a lifetime. The next bit of, let's say, wisdom you require, or the next trait that you require is, how do you know if the information you give is true or false? If you say you've got a brother Michael here, or you've got sister Jean or something of that here, how do you know that that person is real? And how do you know that information is provided to the person is correct? Well, you're going to have to find out, because I'm not going to tell you on this video how to know if the information is right. A lot of people who will be watching this, and I'm not necessarily talking about you in person, but I'm talking generally, will haven't a clue if their information is right or not. They don't know what I'm talking about. They will just say, well, the voice is telling me, therefore it's right. Oh, the information, I asked for the information back 3 times. Well, what a load of codswallop, because if you've got an entity on the astral plane who's wanting to deceive you, and here's the system, well, I've got to say the information 3 times, it will say, I am Auntie Jean, I am Auntie Jean, I am Auntie Jean. I'll say it 3 times, and you'll go, okay, well, I've got your Auntie Jean here, and how do you know if that really is for the person? That is what I'm talking about here. How do you know? How do you know when you get a piece of information that that information is really from that person? So I'm not going to impart that information on this video, but anyone who wants to find out, please contact me and I will organise some intensive mediumship training sessions for you on that basis. But it is one of the most important things that you have to learn. You have to control the ego, You have to control the ego. It's the biggest lesson. You have to prove to the universe you are worthy, that you have responsibility, and part of that is knowing that your information that you are giving to someone is indeed correct. And the other one is, how do you know the impact that information is going to have on the person? How can you give information out to someone who's had a nervous breakdown if you, for example, if you don't know that the reaction that your information is going to give? The best way is to have had similar or have had experiences like theirs to know that the impact of the information you're about to give to the person. There's another important lesson that has to be learned, and all these things are part of the neophyte or acolyte experiences in the secret societies. The secret societies are not cruel. Their initiations are not cruel. They're just designed to be difficult and to test and to choose the correct students. And all I will say, and I might sound egotistical, I might sound egotistical to certain people because, well, that is my reflection in themselves. But having had basically 44 years of initiations and traumas you wouldn't imagine, things that I've never actually told people, all I will say is that I am a few steps up the ladder. I acknowledge I'm nowhere near the top, but I am a few steps up the ladder. This is why these videos, I'm not really bothered how many people they go to. If they only go to 5 people, 2 people, 3 people, 9 people, 20 people, 50 people, it doesn't bother my ego. My ego doesn't look at it and go, oh, they've had 36,000 views, or they've had 10 million views. Why have I only had 5 or 6? I'm not bothered. I'm seriously not bothered. What I do is for those who are meant to hear it. It's not for the general public, my videos. My videos are for those who are meant to watch it. So if you're watching, thank you for watching. You may well be one of the select few who can go to the next stage in the pyramid, because it is a pyramid. Why do the brotherhoods use a pyramid structure? Why do the Egyptians use a pyramid structure? Because it's an initiation. It's a pattern. It's a shape. It's a vibration. Everything is a vibration, and that is going to be the next thing I actually want to talk about. Is all about everything being a vibration. So I'm going to leave that for today. I'm actually going to set you a puzzle. I'm going to ask you a question of, let me think. You see, here's another thing. You've got to learn to trust your judgment, your first impression. It's really important that you go with that first information that comes to you in your psyche, because the first thing is generally the correct thing. The thing that you then you process and put through your head is normally ego driven. You can fool the ego, or the ego can be fooled by that acting on that first thought. So what I want you to do is, on first thought, I need a colour, a name and a number. So first thoughts: colour, name and number. Colour, name and number. Don't think about it. If you think about it, start again. Colour, name and number. Colour, name and number. And I've actually got a colour in mind, I've got a number in mind, and I've got a name in mind. And I'm just going to play this game to see if anybody can pick up on those 3 things. Now I'm going to leave that there. I'm going to enjoy my walk, and I'll speak to you guys later.